Hello everyone, I'm Science Squares, and I just finished a stream on Twitch. You can find me streaming there on most of the time on Sundays. You could also follow me on Twitter to find out when I'm streaming next. And during the stream, I went over an opening line that I'm fond of, and I wanted to share it with the rest of the YouTube community. This is actually not going to be clips from the stream itself because I was playing some music in the background, and if I upload that, YouTube is going to have a fit. So I'm recording this bit again, talking about this opening line. So this is going to be a variation of the Vienna that I like to play sometimes. And it's fun in Blitz. It's maybe not good for a serious game, but it's a good way of throwing your opponent off. So the Vienna game, I know a lot of people that play this. I watch, for example, the Gotham Chess channel, and he likes promoting the Vienna, and I've been playing the Vienna for many years. In addition to other openings. Vienna, of course, is e4, e5, followed by knight c3. And that normally is followed with ideas of playing f4. Now, I have a different idea on how to play the Vienna. Again, this sort of tricky little line. Before I get into it, I want to show you a couple other openings, because this is going to be sort of a thematic thing that we're gonna look at. So, the first thing would be, more common than the Vienna is playing knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. The Roy Lopez or the Spanish opening, right? Classic opening, a lot of nuance, a lot of positional pressure that white can bring to bear on black's position. Key thing here, you're placing your bishop on b5. Remember that. It's going to be on the test later. Okay. How else can white play? Well, can also play bishop c4, targeting another part of black's position. There's different ways that black can respond. Can respond with an Italian. Actually, let's see if we play a sort of kind of standard Italian here. One of these kinds of moves. We might see, I don't know, this is just sort of, there's different ways that this can go, but you might go to castle. White might push a4 with the idea of b4, trying to trap the bishop. And black might have to play a6 in response to this. a6 or a5, right? Again, this controls the b5 square. It also allows the bishop to hide away. Let's look at a different variation. Black can also play the two knights defense. And there's different ways white can play this. Something tame with d3, which might transpose to what we just saw. White can also play knight g5, attacking f7. And one way black would defend this would be playing d5. This is, I think, the main line. You can take here, knight a5, and then white has this key move, bishop to b5, check. Right? And we get this kind of gambit line from black where we trade on c6 and bishop f1 is played. And this is an interesting position. There's a lot of theory here. But again, a key move was bishop to b5. Okay. What else can white do here? We can play d4, the Scotch game. And black can play bishop c5 or knight f6. Black also has this kind of funny move, queen h4. I actually saw a recent, that I didn't actually watch the video to be honest, but there was a recent video from, I think, Eric Rosen talking about this move, right? So this is this old line in the Scotch that's kind of debunked. In some ways, I didn't see if he had any other advice in that video. I didn't actually watch it, to be honest. White can defend the pawn. Black can then try and undermine the knight. And black might actually win this pawn, but it might come at the expense of the c7 square, right? The queen has abandoned that square. What are you going to do? Use the king to defend it? Maybe. Maybe that's worth it. But once again, we see the b5 square. Blue for b5, right? Being important in these variations. So, tricky little move that I like to play in the Vienna. If they respond after knight c6, knight knight c3, knight f6. One funny little move you can play here is a3. And so this is attempting to get into basically a reversed opening, a reversed king's pawn opening where you have the extra move a3. And we can see a couple ways in which that helps, right? Here, we're controlling In the other mirror version of this opening with knight c6, we saw the b5 square being important for how white would try and press home an advantage. Here we see this is the b4 square would be the equivalent. We now have control over that square. So straight away, the Roy Lopez, not an option, right? Not going to see player play bishop b4 unless they're pre-moving in bullet. If they play the equivalent of the Italian game, we go into the two knights. And if they try and go for the most aggressive option here, you hit them with d5, and now they don't have this move. Sorry, we have to play knight a4 here first. There's also knight d5 would also be like similar to a line. Maybe they drop back, and then this should be good for white. Right? Just take here or play even moves like this first. Actually looks pretty nice. Can we take here now? Yeah. Good position for white. So if black is on autopilot and thinks, oh, I'm just playing a reverse two knights defense, they're going to have a rude awakening when it comes to a3. So already we have a player who has to think about this here. I'm not playing, I can't play this move, I can't play this move, right? What if they played the Scotch? Right? Again, same thing. Now we go with the equivalent of the queen h4 line, here with queen h5. How are they going to defend this pawn? Right? They can't play f6, they can't play here, or here, they would drop their knight. So they're going to have to play knight here. We can then pin this knight, and if this was with white and we didn't have the pawn on a3, we'd probably see the knight jump. But here they don't have that move. So again, they're just going to be in kind of a tough situation. Right? In fact, it's not actually going to be possible, I think, for them to hold on to this pawn. There's a couple neat lines here. If they take, then you take here. They can play here, let's say, and you still end up with an extra pawn at the end of this line. This is 4 versus 3. They're doubled, but it's an extra pawn. It's something. Again, what else are you going to do here? Here, you just drop that. This, I'm going to take it, take here, right? So white's probably going to win a pawn here, one way or the other. In fact, actually, in this case, we would just take the knight. Black's best option in this position... Black's best option, actually, is to just give up the e5 pawn and try and castle and make use of an advantage in development. But I think this has got to at least be a slight advantage for white. So there you have it. The Vienna game with a3. Now this is not necessarily as powerful against knight c6 on the first move, and if your opponent plays knight c6 here, maybe you play knight f3, you're in a 4 knights game. So you can just kind of continue in Vienna fashion, depending on what they play. You could also, continue to play in this sort of Vienna fashion here. Although this is actually probably not very good because of d5. So yeah, probably best here is just go into the 4 knights. You have the extra move a3. And another neat thing here too is, see, we're not done yet. We got some more things to talk about with a3. Another neat thing here too is certain moves like g6 here from black, probably not a good idea. And in fact, white has decent moves like bishop c4. They also have the ability to play this. And now this is a version of the Halloween Gambit with a3 and g6 inserted, which both help white. There are lines of the Halloween Gambit where black diffuses the pressure with bishop b4. And there are other lines where the white queen ends up on d4 after all these minor pieces have been traded or kicked out of the way. So in one case, the line where black neutralizes the pressure is gone. In the other case, lines where white ends up with queen d4 hits the rook on h8. So there you have it. the Vienna with a3. I hope you all have fun trying this out in Blitz, and maybe you can confuse opponents who are starting to get used to your Vienna with f4 and bishop c4. You give them something else to think about. In a very short time control, those extra few seconds can make a big difference. Thanks for watching, and feel free to, feel compelled to follow me on Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and watch every time I stream on Twitch. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.